Welcome to the Joe Cohen Show. Join me as I share my experience with biohacking and invite top health experts to explore the latest technology, supplements, research, and resources for optimizing your body and brain. Okay, hey everyone. This is going to be a short podcast about what air purifiers I like and why. I just bought 2 of them, and I'm going to go through the thinking process about why I chose them and how I filter my air. Basically, the reason why it's important to filter your air, and let's just quickly talk about what there is in the air, the main culprits in the air to filter. So there's PM10, that's particulate matter with a size 10, PM2.5. These are some of the main pollutants that cause a bunch of health problems in the air. And that's often they'll report on it, the weather services. The PM10 or PM2.5 is this and this level. Outdoors, you also have other pollutants as well, but like indoors, the main things that we're going to be dealing with is PM10, PM2.5. Really, it's PM2.5, VOCs, mold, and carbon dioxide. Those are the 4 main ones. I would say there could be other ones, but the main ones, really where you see a lot of studies showing negative health effects, it's mold, VOCs, PM2.5. So it's like these small particles. As part of VOCs, there could be other gases from furniture and whatnot, but it's basically VOCs and similar related gases. VOCs is volatile organic compounds. It's a broad umbrella term for some different kinds of gassy toxins. And then carbon dioxide as well. These are some of the ones that I am interested in the most, right? There's also, you could talk about bacteria, viruses in the air. Those are also could be significant. Dust in general. But let's look at what I'm looking for in a filter. Now, I'll go with this one first, actually. So H14, the higher the H, generally, the better, the more filters, right? So there's different grades of HEPA filter. So more efficient and powerful than H13. So H14, I think, is a pretty good standard. You want a HEPA filter. And again, it's not very expensive. You apply this coupon, it's close to $100. Some of the things I'm looking for is the H14. I'm looking for that it could take care of a large area, because a lot of times you have a air purifier, they say, if it says 3,000, I feel like it's probably only good for 100 or something like that, right? It's really, they overdo it when it comes to these things. So if it says 1,000 or 2,000, it's really going to be like a quarter of what they're saying. Smart Wi-Fi. So this has Wi-Fi as well. Washable filters. Okay, I don't care so much about the washability of them. Air quality monitor. That's interesting. This one tells me the 2.5. I already got this one, actually. So this one I've used. There's one other that I bought I haven't used yet. 4 fan. I look at the decibel level because 22 decibels seems like a good level, meaning some of them are too loud. I've had some of them that are too loud. This one is not too loud. So that's interesting. And again, you don't need super expensive ones. This one is going to do a pretty good job. Air purifiers for wildfire smoke. So that's another thing. If you're in California and there's a lot of smoke, that's also important. Dust, odors, pet dander. So if you have allergies, that's also going to be important. I didn't mention that. I mentioned VOCs. You want to make sure your purifier is good for VOCs. Now, it needs this activated carbon layer, smoke, odors, fumes, VOCs, in order to get the VOCs. Like I said, it's not only VOCs, but it's things like smoke, odors, fumes. The H14 True HEPA filter, this is dust, smoke particles, pollen, dander. And then this is just a pre-filter that gets rid of bigger particles. Net filter, this is going to catch large particles from air. Okay, but the main 2 things that I'm looking for is this H14. They all have this pre-filter, to almost all of them that I've seen. But not all of them have the H14. Not all of them have the activated carbon. Not all of them have 3,000 square foot. A lot of them slower. Not all of them have Wi-Fi. Not all of them show you the PM 2.5 in the air. You want your PM 2.5 to be under 6 And when I checked mine, it was about 4. But it ranged a little bit, but it was pretty good. Washable pre-filter, okay. Yeah, the pre-filter is, you probably want to clean that to take out some larger particles. That's the main, those are some of the main things, is the decibel level, square footage, how much feet does it take care of, HEPA, particle retention size. So again, I'm looking for H14, looking for 3,000 square feet, more the better. If you've got an air purifier, you might as well have it purify as much air as possible. You see, some of these are H13. So that's what I'm looking for in a filter. Now, I bought another one to try it out, and also, so this one is 2160 square feet, true HEPA. And what was the thing about this one was the UV light, number one, and the ionic generator. So these are two things that the other one did not have. The UV light is going to kill bacteria and viruses better. It's 5-in-1 filtration system, filters dust, pollen, pet dander. 0.3 microns, more. So it's as small as 0.3 microns, which will help your overall health. Okay, smart air quality. Know your air quality by checking the color of the display, so it tells you the air quality. Ultra quiet sleep mode. So again, this is something that I look at how quiet it was, and I assumed, oh, so actually this is a higher noise level, to be honest. Not great, but again, the reason I liked it was mainly because of the ionic part of it. So what the ionic part does is it makes the certain kinds of particles clump together more easily, and they get filtered out more easily. So that's something that's interesting. And the UV light is also going to be more effective for bacteria and viruses. This one is an H13. Again, I got this one more for the UV light and ionic generator situation, whereas the other one seemed to be better in certain other ways, like the noise level, the H14. Each of them had their own things. I'm going to try, I still didn't try this one yet, but the other one I like so far. But these are some things that solid air filter, UV HEPA ionizer that you can use or turn off as needed, charcoal and HEPA filtration. So it has the charcoal as well. That's something that I'm looking for because you want it to get rid of the gases. Now, I'll go through some of the other things. I also have a home filter, which I think is quite important. Now, I have to look at, right now I'm not home, but I don't know if this thing is going to fit in my home filter. It seems like it's a little big for my home filter. Like the space that you could, right now I'm using this. You can see this is thinner. And basically what you want to look for is MERV rating. That's the main thing, really. This one also says that with ordinary filters, up to 50% of air moved through the system will not go through the air filter at all. That's because most air filters on the market are either made of cardboard or plastic, and these types of filters are unable to make proper air sail. So it's letting in some other air. Now, I'm not sure this is true. Maybe true for some of them, but basically this saying that it has a heavy duty aluminum and incorporates patent protected leak guard seal. This is one I use now. It says more MERV 14 plus. Greater efficiency, works great in central air conditioning, perfect for people with shedding pets and dog hair, great for allergy and asthma sufferers. Again, this is the one I use now, but I'm going to try to look for a better one. That means a higher MERV, but one that could fit in my filter. I'm not sure I'll be able to find it. I have to get the exact dimensions and see which one is going to fit. But the idea is that you want to try to get the highest MERV. You can see here MERV rating, MERV 1 to 4, 5 to 8. So this, you see what this filters out. 1 to 4 is dust, lint, pollen. 5 to 8 is mold spores, pet dander. So it's already 5 to 8 is pretty good in terms of you're able to get some mold, right? Common uses, better home filters, commercial buildings. When we get to MERV 9 to 14, we're talking about PM10, lead dust, and some bacteria. So we're already getting some bacteria with the MERV 9 to 12. MERV 13 to 16, this is where I'm at. This is the filter. We're getting PM 2.5, which is very important because this is not good for you. Smoke, viruses, allergens. So this is getting some viruses. It's actually trapping some viruses. Best for home use, healthcare, schools. And this is something 0.3 to 1 micron. So it's getting as low as 0.3 microns. And then less than 0.3 microns, we're talking about viruses, aerosols, radioactive particles. And this would be used, this MERV 17 to 20, this would be used for clean rooms, hospitals, HEPA level filtration. Now, yeah, this is going to be for like a clean room, basically. And let's see what this is. So this is MERV 16. I don't think you can, I don't think getting 17 to 20 is possible for houses unless you really design your own thing. Because just regular commercial ones, I don't think it's going to fit. Like even with this 16 one, I don't know, it seems like too thick to fit in the space that you need to put it in. With all the stuff that we discussed here, this is going to get rid of, these filters are going to get rid of almost all the problems in a house. The only thing that this will not get rid of is CO2. So you cannot get rid of CO. You cannot get rid of CO2 with air filters, pretty much. Very little could get stuck in the activated carbon, but mostly not. The way to get rid of CO2 is a couple ways. Number one is not very good, which is plants, because actually when you do the math, you need about, if we're talking about a snake plant, which is common in bedrooms, or these other kinds of plants, there's a few plants that they use for like bedrooms and whatnot, or just home plants. And when we're talking about these plants, you need like 500 to 1,000 of them. Sometimes maybe you need a little bit less if we're talking about something that is, if you have a really big plant or anything like that. But so anyway, let's get to some of the ways to do it. So plants are not so good, like I mentioned. It's problematic because you need too many of them. And I think in some ways it could also worsen your air quality if you don't really take care of them, because mold can build up in the pots of the plants. There could be different issues with that. So you definitely need to take care of them really well. Some of the plants that people get are like the snake plant, the peace lily, the erica palm. But again, you need too many of them for it to make a significant difference. So I don't recommend getting plants to get more oxygen. The best way actually is to open a window or a door. And so I don't think there's any real good substitution for opening up a window. Now, there's some other hacks that you can do. There's exhaust fans, and so the exhaust fans could be in the kitchen or bathroom. In my personal bathroom, the exhaust fan goes out, so that's good. So it sucks up the air and goes out. Whereas the exhaust fan in the kitchen just kind of, it sucks it up, but it brings it back in. So you got to look at what kind of exhaust fans you have. Not every kitchen one will go outside. Now, you also want to look into your the HVAC system. So I looked into my HVAC system, and it turns out that there's different kinds of HVAC systems. Some of the HVAC systems, they mainly refilter the existing air. And the question is, how much does it bring in new air? Some of them don't bring in any new air. Some of them bring in a little bit, some of them bring in a little more. So you want to look at the different kinds of filters, different kinds of HVAC systems, and try to understand how much new air it's bringing in. I don't think any of them really bring in enough new air that you have very good CO2 levels without opening up the window or door. Now, you don't have to guess because there's CO2 monitors, so you can get it on Amazon or Temu or anywhere. You just go get a CO2 monitor, and that's something that I highly recommend. So definitely get a CO2 monitor, open the window doors. You can turn on an exhaust fan in the bathroom. Cross ventilation is ideal, so opening up a window in opposite parts of the house. You can install a heat recovery ventilator or an energy recovery ventilator to improve airflow in well-sealed homes. That's something I want to look into more, but it is something that I've seen can be done. So some of the things you don't want to do, for example, is burning candles, or if you're using a gas stove, you want to make sure you have good ventilation, fireplaces. These things will increase CO2 levels. The more people you have, the more overcrowding. Obviously, that's going to increase CO2 levels. You could replace clogged air filters in the HVAC system. That could help a little bit. And one of the more expensive things is to think about having an HVAC system that includes more fresh air, which is not something that's easy to do in most places, but that's something that I'm actually going to look at, something I'm going to look at more closely. I want to try to understand how much my HVAC system, like I know it does a little bit, but I don't know how much. And I want to see what are my other options. Something interesting enough is high humidity can also trap CO2, making it feel stuffy. Yeah, if your humidity is at more ideal levels, like 40 to 50%, with a dehumidifier, that can actually help a little bit. But like I said, the main thing that you're going to want to do is just open the windows or doors. You're not going to have a replacement for that, but these other things could be temporary, or if you add a couple plants, it could help a few percentage points, but nothing too significant. I don't recommend, in general, I would just use plants for decoration, not necessarily, I wouldn't use it for trying to get more oxygen. Yeah, and then I said the second thing would be using the exhaust fans in the bathrooms and in the kitchen if possible, if the air is going to go out. So the takeaway is I recommend everyone really investigate your HVAC system, understand how much fresh air it's taking in, whether you have an HRV system, or if not, whether you can build one. And I'm not sure every place can do it. If you're in a house, then you can almost definitely do it. But if you're in a condominium or an apartment building or a skyscraper, that might not be clear. But I think it really starts with the HVAC system. I think that's the most important thing that you want to investigate. And then from there, I think just try to open the doors as much as you can, or open the windows. And yeah, that's pretty much and then get a CO2 monitor. You want to detect how much CO2 levels are in the air. Okay, thank you very much. I wish you best health. Let me know if you have any tips to improve air quality. I would love to hear them, and leave some comments, subscribe, share. Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye. 67% of listeners aren't subscribed to the show, so please don't forget to show your support by hitting the subscribe button now. You'll not only be supporting the show, but also investing in yourself and your health journey, all while helping keep us ad-free.